Welcome to my masterclass.
Good afternoon, good evening to all those who have joined us for this masterclass organized by School of Media and Communication, Manipal Academy of Higher Education, Dubai. In the words of Danish author Hans Christian Andersen, as he said, when words fail, music speaks. Indeed, it's true. We cannot imagine watching a film or a movie without any background score or music, because it is the music which narrates the entire story with different emotions and different feelings that the character has in the film. So today we have one such maestro who's produced such wonderful music for prominent films including Andhadhun, Phobia, Agent Vinod, Johnny Gaddar, which has won several awards along with recognition. Daniel B. George. We are pleased to have him for this masterclass, who has over 2 decades of experience of producing music for various films, including commercials for prominent brands. He's also worked for the musical works on Coke Studio. We are indeed privileged to have him. And in today's session, he will be taking us through his masterclass where he will be discussing his works, describing various scenes from the film Andhadhun. So here is a preview of his work, especially to our audience.
My name is Daniel B. George. This is my masterclass.
Good evening, Daniel, and thank you once again for joining us for this masterclass. We are indeed pleased to have you throughout this session.
Thanks, Wilma. Thank you very much. And thank you for the lovely introduction.
Definitely. I'm sure lockdown has actually kept all of us busy. In fact, you also came up with wonderful musical works on the concept of lockdown, where you merged with various artists and, performers
Yeah.
who came up with the wonderful productions. So
Yeah.
when we speak about films, Daniel, as a music composer, what is the connection or what is the main function of a music in the film? What do you have to say about it?
Yeah. Uh, mu- uh, it's actually, uh, it's mainly a movie is the director and the writer's vision, actually. And he happens to be the captain of the ship. So me, if I am asked to do something under that leadership, I'm just one of the departments, and my job as a musician, as a music producer or composer, is to I mean, it's music is very integral to the storytelling of a movie. And if at all I'm inputting anything from the music side, that should invoke alongside the screenplay and film, the flow of the film. It should invoke curiosity or awaken interest to the intent of the narrative. So, in other words, music ought to keep the person viewing engaged. I mean, it has to push uh, push the level of keenness further.
Right. So, suppose a director approaches you with the entire film.
Yeah.
What is the first step as a music composer, or when you're assigned with the film? What is the first step that you'll be taking up? Is there a concept of like a treatment note that you will begin with?
Yeah. Um, Actually, uh, uh, especially since today I'm going to be discussing mainly on the Andhadhun score, and I'm very thankful to Mr. Sriram Raghavan, and alongside him, hand in hand, there's Pooja Lada Surti, and by the way, they are here with us on Zoom today, and my first meeting happened with Mr. Raghavan for the movie Johnny Gaddar in 2006 or 7. And I went to meet him through another friend of mine who introduced me to him called Jaydeep Sahni. And I went to meet him, and then he led me into the edit room, and he said, just go have a look at the movie and tell me what you think. So I sat for 2 hours, two sessions, first part, second part, and watched the whole edit movie, and then came back into his office room, and he said, "What do you think? What should be the sound for this movie?" And Johnny Gaddar was a heist movie, and then spontaneously I actually came out with this formation saying, um, Shriram, this should be something like Kalyanji Anandji meeting Quentin Tarantino, because Kalyanji Anandji has been one of my growing up years. I've been an ardent Amitabh Bachchan fan in his action films, and Kalyanji Anandji scored the movie for Dawn, the music for Dawn, and that's sensational music, and I love that score. So I said that score, even though that is vintage and retro, should meet with what Tarantino does with his music. Maybe in could I could have been referring to Kill Bill One. So that's how I gave that was my treatment note to Mr. Raghavan.
Wonderful. So, in fact, as you said, the looks like the Andhadhun crew is also here, including the director and editor, and we are very happy to have them. To tell it to our viewers, today we will be taking up this masterclass where Daniel will be discussing or taking us through the prominent scenes. So, we have picked up 5 important scenes from the film Andhadhun, where the actors, including Tabu, Ayushmann Khurrana, and Radhika Apte, gave a brilliant performance, and the entire story is narrated in such a way where music plays a prominent role, be it the background score, be it the entire songs that's been used in the music. So we will be discussing those scenes here in the masterclass today. So the very first scene that we have picked up from the film is the murder scene, discovery of murder, where Ayushmann, the character named Akash, who is a blind piano artist, enters Tabu's house and discovers the murder. So can you take us through the scene here where you wonderfully played with different keynotes where the suspense is revealed through music?
Yeah, sure, sure.
So here is a preview of the very first scene, murder scene, specially for our participants. Have a look at it.
Wow. Lovely, so lovely. What a lovely surprise my husband gave me. अभी तक romantic hero है.
मैम क्या मैं आपका बाथरूम यूज कर सकता हूँ?
Sure.
Yes, Daniel.
Yeah.
Here, especially the music notes registers in everybody's head, and the suspense is created through the music. So could you take us through this?
Yes, yes. Am I on share screen right now?
Yeah, we can see your screen. Yes, it's clear.
Yes.
It's visible.
All right. All right. Okay. Now you have played the whole scene, so I don't need to go over it again. But before the murder scene, Ayushmann is playing his heart out on the piano, Teri Galiyon Mein, and it's going very smoothly. And but there is, when he ends the music, there is a little alarm in his ending, which could have already given away a kind of a hint to Tabu that oh, this guy is not truly blind or whatever. But anyway, for us as audience, uh, we have seen the dead body there. That's a shocker. So that's a shocker, and as soon as the piano hit that note of ending, I would have been tempted, to treat it like the typical ending, typical sound of ta-da, ta-da. That's a cinema. That's the cinema that we are used to mostly. A very dramatic entry of suspense into the dead body. But here we haven't used that kind of a treatment. We have kept it really muted, and kept it really muted and stark and let it build slowly. So in this, the first suggestion after the piano ending, solo, yeah. And then there's the first suggestion, this kind of a windy sound. This was the first suggestion for the scene. Very subtle. Something is amiss. And then starts the music. And the music has a very simple motif that goes dum, 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 dum. It has a little slow interval, so it kind of keeps you waiting. It is not done in any frenzy as such. It is quite relaxed, but yet menacing. So I'll just play that I'll just play the two piano notes here, and those piano notes are. And underneath that piano note, there is a timpani drum. So just play these three tracks. Yeah. This is the motif of the whole drama piece. So underneath this, slowly one after the other, build up as Tabu is leading him into the washroom. So I'll just run you through that. And there's one little layer of suspense running. And here, when he sees the blood, there is drama. Now he's inside, he shut the door, so it's silent. No, he has no clue, nothing, neither the audience has any clue.
Yes.
But the thing is, here comes the larger, the more surprising thing is the inspector is inside. The inspector.
A bigger suspense.
Yeah, or the Tabu's lover, he's there watching him, profiling him. So, and this picks up here. Again, when the inspector shows up, same two-note motif. Now more starker, because an audience was not expecting this. And to embellish that, just a little tune. Tabu is holding forth. Two notes. Dum, dum, dum. and that's it. And then immediately it cuts to a very joyful, happy song. Another
Ex-
another of the older tunes that we have incorporated in the movie. Yeah, that's
Exactly.
the
Yeah, in fact, in Andhadhun, you have showcased the suspense, or that entire drama is created through the two-note motif with those two drum sound.
mm,
Also, when I was doing the research on Andhadhun, I came to know that initially Andhadhun was not the name for the movie. It was different. So, could you give us an insight about it?
yeah. When actually when Mr. Sriram began the journey, the working title in his office, in all the marking boards for all the others, was "Don't shoot me, I am just a piano player." It's an old, it's a show, or also I think it's an Elton John song. I'm not very sure, but I know this term. Don't shoot me, I'm just a piano player. So it started like that. It began like that, I think, and then this brilliant idea, because the story is about a blind pianist. Sorry, it was about a pianist who's trying to act blind in order to gain attention, favor, and sympathy and whatnot. And then he gets into the rigmarole of getting blind for for true, and his life gets into a mess. So he goes blind. So, and he's a musician. So what else in our Hindi idioms, they found an awesome title which could which is Andhadhun. Actually, we say, when in our language, when we wing it, we say, Andhadhun kar diya.
Yeah.
But this has a pun intended meaning, saying Andhadhun is blind and melody.
Yes.
So this is the spin of this is the amazing spin on the title.
Right. Also, now moving from drama to pain, where we will be discussing about the scene where Tabu post-murder is sad, is regretting of what has happened. So here is the preview of the scene to our participants.
प्रमोद को आज बहुत देर होगी, तुम चले जाओ। और तुम्हारा कोई पेमेंट है बैलेंस?
इट्स ओके मैम, मैं सर से ले लूंगा।
Yes, Daniel.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
how did you, establish the pain or regret through the music here?
Yeah. Uh, here, Tabu is troubled. Just before this, they packed the body up in the suitcase, and her lover, he took the body and left the building. And Tabu is alone, and suddenly, after all the hectic activities, she suddenly is um, in a sense of she's troubled, and she's in a sense of regret. And in order to approach this emotion, um, actually, the right thing would have been the movie Curse, the old Curse, the original Curse, where they had a very iconic tune that went tang ta tang 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 da dang tang da dang tang da dang tang dang, very evocative, and it puts in a lot of guilt and emotion on Simi Grewal's character in that movie. And that particular music piece has been iconized. So I was looking at something in those lines. So in order to achieve that, but here we have Aishman playing. He will be playing a piano. Doing it. He'll be doing it in a piano expression. So I thought I should come up with something that the musical notes of that piano should be disturbing notes. Music notes should be disturbing, and technically speaking, it should be unresolved. They should not have a resolve. The unresolvedness of that music piece should be long enough to give that emotion of trouble and regret. So here's how it starts. So very simple. This is my first theme. So I'll name this A. Okay. I'll name this A, part A. Ting, tang, ting, tension, ting, tension, tang, dang, dang, dang. Ting, tension, resolve. Ting, unresolved, unresolved, dang, 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 dang. Ting, unresolved, dang, unresolved, resolve. So, normally when you're composing, you get the first unresolved very well. But I somehow succeeded in getting the second resolve also to make the note wrong. And then in the end note, I ended up resolving. So this goes on 2 times. And the second time, I'm going to play the second time. Same thing. Now my second piece is he has a sense of melancholy because she's already broken down. Yeah. So the second part, I would name it B. The second part, I would name it B. And then I come to the part C, where Ayushman, according to the mood, even he is involved in what he has seen and is troubled. He plays something that is very dissonant, and there's a sense of frustration or anger coming through that section C. So I played A twice, B once, and then I'm doing a C, which is which has dissonance in it. Just play the only solo this. Yeah, so- yeah, I'm playing the C again. One wrong note, another wrong note. As soon as he finishes this anger section, he stuns his playing into silence and then comes back to the A part A, that is the theme. Yeah. Very softly. Unresolved notes. Resolved. Yeah. So this is the graph of creating this kind of different 3 or 4 various emotions that Tabu and Ayushman are going through, and this has been. And another one section that I want to show, while Sri Ram and Pooja were viewing it, they liked the melody and the flow of it. Is they said, yeah, this is all fine. So when Ayushman is playing some kind of a very virtuoso lines, da 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 da, just like a pianist, and then he hits a dissonant note, and that dissonant note needed to go exactly on the back of his head, and that was the cinema sync. It needed to, we needed a sync on his, right on his head, and from under the piano lid you're looking at Tabu. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and one last thing is usage of dynamics. When he has played that middle dissonance part so loud, he's got to stun it to silence and play the theme in a very with a very soft and an emotional touch, and he finishes the music. So that is the scene and the piano part.
That's indeed a wonderful way of a blind artist. Wonderful. So discussing about the next scene, Tabu meets Akash, that is Ayushman, at the restaurant. So
Yeah.
this is again one of the prominent scene where the turmoil that's there in the head of Akash is clearly shown, and how Tabu is facing it is also clearly shown through music. So here is a preview of the scene for our participants.
Good girl.
Are you okay?
Hi, Franco.
Hey, Cindy. Happy anniversary. And where's the chief?
Late as usual. फोन करती हूँ उसको.
Red wine?
That'll be lovely.
Sophie.
Happy anniversary, ma'am.
Thank you.
How are you?
ये तुम्हारा पियानो प्लेयर काफी अच्छा है.
I know. It's fantastic, isn't it? Boyfriend? मैम आपका रेड वेलवेट केक ऑर्डर किया है.
डायबिटिक केक है ना?
हाँ या डोंट वरी.
Thanks.
प्लीज एंजॉय योर ड्रिंक.
Yes. So here in
Yeah.
this scene, the two characters, that is Tabu and Ayushman, clearly know what has happened, while
Correct.
Radhika is clueless. she is confused and clueless. So how did you brought up these characters together and executed or showed the entire concept of turmoil through the music?
Yeah, yeah. To first to begin with, this kind of piano playing is called atonal piano playing, and atonal piano playing apparently is a very post-war, post-World War kind of a Western classical style, which has been popularized by a pianist called Ligeti. And that person Ligeti, the piece actually when Shriram shot the scene and edited it, had a Ligeti's piece called Devil's Staircase. Devil's Staircase, name of the music piece. But when with my musical acumen, when I heard this, I was taken aback. I said, who's going to perform a musical exploit like this? Because it is very difficult to work this out or even read it out, and it's going to really it's going to be really challenging to reproduce this. So I have a very dear friend of mine, Aman, and Aman studied music in Trinity College, London, and he did his honors in there in London. So I called him in, and he heard it. He heard just the glimpse of the piece and said, "Sir, ये तो atonal music है." So he says this was one of my subjects in the college. So he said, to play right now, we will lose a lot of time. He said, what I will do is I'm going to, we use the Logic program, Logic software. And he said, I'm going to step write each and every note from the beginning to end. I'll start step writing. So this is how he step wrote the whole thing. And musically, if somebody musically inclined or any musicians in our group, it has a certain interval called a diminished chord. A diminished chord, and the diminished intervals, it keeps on climbing. This is climbing at a higher tempo, and then it gets harmonized to those diminished notes only, and that is pretty much, I feel, is atonal theory. And here's how it goes. So if you see my screen, there is a lot of symmetry in putting together of notes. So it is just, if it is going up, it is steeply climbing, and then suddenly dropping down to a very low octave, and again it will start climbing. So it's pretty much, there is no melodicness to it. It is mainly based on the theory of atonality. And in classical music, we use a chord called diminished chord. So that is how this is being built. And if you're using these notes, if these are atonal notes, and it has a certain symmetry. Yesterday, when in our rehearsal, I just came out with an idea. You can put the same notes, let's say, to a Bhairavi rag, and also make atonal, make the piano sound different. So in the morning, when I was since I mentioned it yesterday, I tried something. Select all. And isko, no, isko. Yeah. So now the same thing is put to a Bhairavi rag. So it is here. It is not so wild as the atonal music, but because it is a rag based thing, it kind of stays in the realm. Then, but again, I'll go back to my original, selecting, select all. Select chromatic. Yeah, I'm gotten back to my thing, gotten back to my original. So here it takes a steep climb and almost goes to the end of the piano, but the symmetry is the same. Symmetry is the same, and it has, and also this atonal piano excels in Ligeti. The composer excels in a sort of polyrhythmic way of playing. So it has all those polyrhythmic parts. It is very similar to our Indian Carnatic expression takita takadime takita takadime takita takata takita takadime, that kind of expression. So after the steep climb, there is a sudden drop to the lowest of octave, and that lowest of octave was synced to Radhika Apte's turning on her back. So that's one sync number one. This is the sync. Now from here, Ayushman's fingers are shown. So the piano, we are following Ayushman's fingers on this. Yes. Now there is a little bit of interaction, eye interaction between Tabu and Ayushman. So even in the middle of that symmetry, going in order, Pooja said, sync those cuts. Sync those cuts between one is Tabu, one is Ayushman, one is Tabu, one is Ayushman, one is Tabu. So I just plonked the family of atonal notes with my hands on it. Even though the daga 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 the piano is going, I just tang tang tang. Irrespective, I did not give heed to the musicality at all, whether I am in time or out of time. I didn't care. I just wanted those sounds on the cuts, because it makes the viewing is exciting when it's made like that. Yeah, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's coming to a crescendo. Yeah, and this is the ending. And
Brilliant. Yes,
and
yes, please.
yeah, one just a little, I spoke too much about this atonal piano and all, but there are another couple of influences in this to use, get this kind of a piano, atonal piano. One is John Coltrane's melody called Giant Steps. Giant Step goes like this. Dun, 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 so these are giant steps. These are giant steps. So if at all you're working out, these are little notes if you can keep and download these scores. These tricks will help you. When you're in a spot to produce something like this. And then we
Thank you.
have a few jazz skills of playing notes like this. So even in jazz, if it is a little avant-garde and progressive, you will find this kind of progressions in that music. So that also is a reference point. Yeah, that's it, Vilma.
Yes, Daniel. Thank you. As in, these tips would definitely, encourage those who wants to pursue their dream or career in the field of music. Also, for our participants, we will be taking up your questions at the end of the session, where Daniel would be addressing it personally. So if you have any questions, please feel free to text them or leave it in the chat box, where we will be personally addressing them. So, Daniel, moving to the next scene, which is one of the prominent scene in the film Andhadhun. In fact, we name it as "Running for Life." So, where the emotion of fear, or what Ayushman is going through after witnessing the murder and not able to tell it, and not just one murder, it is two murder in the film. So, considering all these aspects, the fear for life, or running for life, is brilliantly shown in this particular scene. So here is a preview of the scene for our participants.
Yeah.
उस दिन मेरे घर में गन लाने की जरूरत क्या थी तुम्हें? नहीं लाते तो ये कांड नहीं होता. समझा देती उसे, शायद माफ भी कर देता मुझे. लेकिन तुम तो सिंघम हो और खून पे खून, मर्डर पे मर्डर मैं करते फिरो.
ओपन कर दो, दरवाजा खोलो.
Yes, Daniel. The chase
Yeah,
is
yeah, Vilma.
shown through your background score, the music.
Yes, yes. This particular scene is a very exciting scene. It has a little. It has a the argument is funny, and then there is a little poignant moment on Tabu's husband picture, and then it builds up to what what what's coming Ayushman's way. You know, the tension builds up because Inspector he wants to put him into a noose and kill him, and then post the piece also, after the mayhem and the kind of helplessness that is portrayed with Ayushman being chased, suddenly there is a relief of the train crossing over at the railway crossing, you know, that these kind of nuances Sriram uses it beautifully well, so that uh, even though this was menacing, the moment the train crossed and the Dr. Swami is parked at the railway crossing, there is a sudden sense of relief. Yeah, it got nothing to do with my scoring as such, but that is the interplay of the movie. So I start from the picture, and the picture juxtaposes into Ayushman's scene. I start from the picture. See, I'm playing the same regret motive here, and leading you on into the main scene. And here you have seen the news. First thing, you have seen the news, but the thing is, maybe in the interest of Ayushman being now already permanently blinded by Tabu, now everybody knows that he's properly blind. Earlier he was faking it, but now he is totally blind. So the news does not have any in mark of music. It does not have a suggestion. Mm. News, no suggestion, but Inspector, yes. Yes. And there starts the struggle, the fight, and the scene goes inside. So you have already seen the scene. So the main component of this scene is there is an electro sound that goes like this, which has no musicality as such. It is just a dugga 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 sound, and this was created because we have some very 1970s old analog synthesizers, and again our friend Aman is very good at taking out these electro sounds, which are very stealthy sounds, and he took out this sound, and this sound just works as a pulse in this whole scene, and it is non-stop going on till the train effect, till the train crossfades. This is on. And I also said, if you do not have access to such a stealthy sound, you can source out let's say a bullet motorcycle sound. Dig 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 dig. Just sample it and put it on beat, or any piston engine sound from the BBC effects or anything, because while doing background score, there is the aspect of the sound designer, dialogue, the sound designing, dialogue, and Foley are all real sounds. And in today's background scoring and film scoring, our music scoring tools are from the computer and they are weak sounding. So if you come up with experiments like this, they will be on par with the sound. See, if he's closing a door shut, the shutting of the door is a real sound. And if he shuts it harder, it'll kill the music. If the music is not real, I mean, when I say real, if it is not played live or it is not performed live, if I'm just using a computer-based instrument, it'll eat away my music. So these are few ideas that if you do not have access to an old analog, then the alternate would be to get a bullet motorcycle looped or a piston engine looped, and it just unmusical pulse it can give you, and it can run the scene very effectively. And the next one is, and the next part is in this is the friend of mine, again another friend of mine I'm introducing here. His name is an elderly friend of mine. His name is Mr. Franco Vaz, and he worked with R.D. Burman in very close quarters. He was one of his inner circle, and he has great knowledge. He's a percussionist and a drummer, and he has great knowledge on cinema scoring, and he inputs a lot into my projects. uh, so here, with this electronic sound going, with this electric sound going, he played the drum, I mean the drum percussions live, and we recorded them live. Hence, the mayhem that is created is menacing. And I'm just going to play that separately. These are the drums that are real. These are all real sounds. Yeah. So this percussion thing was a very real sound, and on top of that, the electro sound that makes a potent combination to score, because the moment both of them come on the road, there is a loud auto rickshaw, loud vehicle running, and a lot of sound effect, sound design elements that are going. And to be at par with that kind of that kind of a thing, you need quality. Even though your music is soft, but it needs a lot of quality in it. So in this kind of a situation scenario, we should try and make using something that we can mic and record. So yeah, this is the cop chase. That's
Yes, Daniel. So here, when you were discussing about working on the soundtrack here, you made a mention of Mr. Franco Was. So most of your projects, you've always believed or worked along with other artists or other
yes,
composers.
yeah.
So you believe in the concept of collaborative effort when while working for a music composition. So how important it is for you, especially when you work in the field of music, a collaborative effort, a team effort.
Yeah, yeah. We see in today's day, it is not like a composer sits in a room, in a closed room, and he sits and writes music. Uh, writes music. Nobody writes. Not many write music these days, or composers. So we have got into practice we have got into a practice of collaborating. We are all friends, we hang out, and at the same time come when we get a project, we all gang up together in order to approach that particular project together. So we feed off because each of us have different tastes and different ways of doing things, different personalities. So we feed off each other and put things that really work. So by doing so, there is a sense of critique also, where what works and what doesn't work is easily defined. So a collaborative effort is wonderful. And normally we go out and we take breaks, maybe after working every half an hour, we take a coffee break or a tea break, and there I hear my friend, my fellow friend, um, humming a melody or something. Immediately, it rings a bell. Hey, that's the melody that I was looking for. And immediately I run into the room and I record that melody, so that each of us are aware. You never know where an idea comes out from. The ideas necessarily do not come while you are sitting in the studio. They happen in the, you could be a bathroom singer, and it happens in the bathroom, or when you are really out of the space of the musical environment, something clicks, or something comes into your mind. So uh, it happens with because most of the music uh, is a reaction. It's a reaction to what's happening, what we ought to do. So that those reactions, to capture those reactions, are very paramount, very paramount. So hence, like say I have an iPhone like this, and I have a voice recorder in it. So whatever idea comes, I immediately put the voice recorder on, and I immediately record it. And one advice for voice recording is, when you're doing a voice recording, please sing it loud and say all the things why you are recording that particular idea. Because after recording, and then you get on with your day, you forget the moment. That moment is lost. But in order to recall, you need a lot of links to it. So you have to say a lot of things and sing your tune, or sing your idea, or say your idea loud and clear. And
Absolutely.
here with me right now as I speak, I have my engineer, whom I want to introduce. This is Hapun Saikia.
Hello.
Hi, Apun.
And then I have Pratijyoti Ghosh, who's been one of the main members of the Andhadhun School.
Hi, Pratijyoti.
Yeah. And yeah, only today we have these two members. Others have not come in today.
Okay, in fact, congratulating them on this brilliant work. We'll move forward for the final scene of the film, which is like one of the prominent and important scene, the climax, where the entire story has turn of events. So let's have a look into the scene.
Yes.
ये सही नहीं, you can't do this.
तो आगे एक बस स्टॉप आएगा, वहां उतार देता हूँ।
Thank you.
सिर्फ तुम्हें, क्योंकि तुमने मेरी जान बचाई है। बेसिकली, आई एम ए डिसेंट मैन।
डॉक्टर प्लीज, अगर मैंने उसे मार के उसकी आंखें ले ली, मैं जिंदगी में कभी पियानो नहीं बजा पाऊंगा। वो तो मैंने बस उसे डराने के लिए कुछ भी बोल दिया था। I didn't mean it. क्या उसका लिवर किडनी निकालने की बात कर रहे हैं बार बार? मैं आपको ऐसा करने नहीं दूंगा। कहीं गाड़ी साइड पर रोक दो, हम दोनों को उतार दो प्लीज। ट्रस्ट मी डॉक्टर, मैं आपके बारे में किसी को कुछ नहीं बताऊंगा। डॉक्टर स्वामी, कैन यू हियर मी?
उतरो। Get out. Get out now.
Yes, Daniel.
Yeah.
In fact, just telling our participants, those who have not watched Andhadhun, even though this is a climax, unless you watch the entire film, you wouldn't get this. Also, Daniel, brilliantly, you have executed or brought in the prominent musician Vivaldi in the Bollywood film. So, how did this happen?
Yeah. Again, the Vivaldi piece has been selected by Sriram and Pooja together. They've cut the edit on this. Then I needed to, incorporate this in the climax scene. So, again, Vivaldi, this is one of the most exciting Vivaldi. It comes from the 4 seasons of Vivaldi, I think. This is one of the most exciting pieces, which is very action oriented, but it has been put to electronic music. So electronic music normally has 4 on the floor, what we call it, which goes 1, 2, 3, 4, duck, 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 chick, duck, chick, duck, chick, duck, chick. So like that. But this Vivaldi piece has only 3 beats to it. This 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But still, the electronic element is working beautifully. So here we again earlier piece we had Mr. Franco Vaz. Here we have another wonderful musician. Actually, she's a French violinist. Her name is Angie, and she's a very popular performer in Paris, in France. And she came down. The production, the producer got her down to perform to perform the Vivaldi piece here. So it starts. I think the start is fine. Here I would like to go. So here the doctor is in control, and he says he's going to give the injection and sedate Tabu further, and come back and start driving. So he's in control, and mind you, we also have as viewers, we are not we are with Dr. Swami here. So this is the shocker. The turn of the violin section to the next moment, Dr. Swami is gone, and that was a real shocker. I think in the movie that's a big shock. That was one of the big shocker that nobody expected this turn of events. You know that this guy will Tabu will kill this guy. So anyway, that is for the narrative. Whereas the music goes, the music continues according to the score. Again, the Vivaldi. And let me tell you something. Again, when you're doing classical scores, when you're doing, when you're asked to do a Western classical music score, the easy way of doing it is go to Google. Google will have various file sharing, MIDI file sharing, and we downloaded a MIDI file, and taken they all come in piano roll, and you have to assign different instruments from the computer, and it pretty much plays like the real thing, but yet it is not real. It is just because the tones are not good from the computer or your keyboard or wherever you're using, the tones are not real. Because when you hear Vivaldi, the whole orchestra is performing, and here the orchestra is not performing. We are simulating it through a computer instrument. So you have a sense of dissatisfaction. I wish I have access to real musicians on this. So hence we were lucky to have this violinist come in and play the violin live. That is number one advantage. And then we went further. Okay, now Tabu is in the car, and where Ayushmann is not aware of her presence, and he's trying to confess his well-meaning thoughts about himself and Tabu to let them both go. And then here comes the shocker, the second next shocker, which Ayushmann is not aware that it is Tabu in the car. So here I will play some. So anyway, we have played this score. So I'm just going to tell you how it is, how a live instrument makes somebody performing for you makes a whole world of a difference by, you know, playing this last section of the violin, just the violin. So this is the wonder of somebody performing live.
Right.
Yeah, and so this is how this is the proper Vivaldi piece. This is the proper Vivaldi piece, but we wanted a little more edgier touch to this ending. You know, because the violin, according to the score, is going down. Like that it is ending. But we wanted a ending that would rise and take a crescendo. So we suddenly the idea came that we should go back to our rock and roll ways of doing the ending differently. So even though the violin is going down, then I thought the typical rock and roll ending normally goes like then the whole band and the singer goes Jang, and you must have seen this kind of moment in many rock concert or a live concert, you know, this kind of a moment. So here we changed the ending of this. Now the accident. So another secret to this sounding so gritty and edgy is underneath the violin we have a rock guitar playing live. This is hidden in such a way that it is giving a lot of punch and a lot of energy. Yeah. So this has been played by a dear friend of mine, Ankur Mukherjee, and he's a great guitar player. So all these parts matter to bring in such a large sounding score, in any scene. So these are all the sum of parts that have worked for Andhadhun wonderfully to bring in this kind of a sound.
Yes. So this was a wonderful masterpiece from Andhadhun for our participants, where Daniel took us through the prominent scenes, but Daniel has also worked on prominent film songs, including Judgmental Hai Kya, Phobia, and the list goes on in the Bollywood industry. So Daniel, today we have picked up one of your favorite and our favorite song as well, Roke Na Ruke, prominently sung by Sakina and Siddharth. So, could you also give us an insight how different it is while working for music, or music, especially for the film songs, compared to the background score of film? And before we begin the discussion, we have the song for our participants. Here is a preview.
आग में जली ओम की डली खुशबू के झोंके लिए भिड़ने चली चले से है पाँव गहरे ये खाओ धूप में ही खोया देखो रोशनी का गाँव रोके ना रुके ये उड़ती रही टूटे भी कहर ये पीछे ना मुड़ी
है वो इतनी हंसी चांद तुरा जमीन है कयामत अदा मेरी दिल की दुआ
आग में जली मोम की डली रोके ना रुके ये उड़ती रही तेरी कहर ये पीछे ना मुड़ी है 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 है
Yes, Daniel. So could you take us through how you worked on this song and how working on the song is different compared to working on the background score, especially for films?
Yeah. Songs is a totally, song is a different, it's a different cup of tea. Background is a different language, and song is a totally different language, because song, um, even in Andhadhun, I think the song, you normally what happens is when a music composer comes up with a tune, normally they come up with the first line themselves. I think most of the time. So in or a line or a single line matters a lot. In Andhadhun, the song is whatever blah 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 blah. Naino naino da kya kasur. You know, that's the punchline, and that sticks. Sticks. So similarly, as far as this song from Phobia is concerned, I'm back in that same rock and roll language. Da 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 da. The way I ended Vivaldi, I'm in the dang dang da dang 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 da aag mein jali mom ki dali. So I'm in the, because I don't know, I enjoy the vintage sound. From my from my side, when I do something, I feel it only can cut through. I cannot compete in the modern current genres so much, so that I can. So find I find comfort in bringing the vintageness into my creation, so that it kind of it'll sound different, and it'll have character. Mm. And for this, in fact, even this one, Pooja was involved in this creative briefing, and she said, why can't we have a song like this girl is on fire. This girl is on fire is Alicia Keys' song. So something, when she said, I mean, she meant that this character of Radhika Apte is a troubled character suffering from agoraphobia, and she is on fire. That's just an expression. That's a kind of a metaphor, maybe. So that's how we came out with, Aag Mein Jali, Mom Ki Dali, and Roke Na Ruke. And those lines said nobody to stop. And then we went on and on. So we created this kind of mood to the song, and at the same time, it ought to be cool, light-hearted. This thing. So some references for these for this song would be, there was a song and a movie made. It was a one song wonders, called That Thing You Do. Hey dude, na 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 na. Na 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 na, let you go. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Do that thing you do. Da 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 da. So that is one song, and then there is another song similar to this style of music. I want to hold your hand. I want to hold your hand. This is Beatles. So this style of composing and music, I stuck to a good old 60s and 70s style of thing, but I stumbled on a very good voice, a very good singer. Her name is Sakina Khan, and she has an awesome voice, a very thick, beautiful voice. And just because of her voice being so different from the typical voice, the song took shape, and it has such pizzazz to it. And then Siddharth Basrur followed with the verse, and then he joined in the chorus later. And then when the song and everything gets over, and we have a chanty refrain that goes, in a very groovy way, that goes na ra ra da da la ra ra da da, yeah 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 yeah. In a second repeat, he goes for a typical rock and roll scream, yeah, and all that, and you could hear that in the scream. and the director construed that scream to Radhika's phobia, fear. This will work very good in sync with her fear, because the neighbor is a menace for her. Whoever knocks her door is a menace for her. So she runs as soon as she hears this scream. She can't even go near the lift. So as soon as she hears this scream, she immediately runs into her apartment. So it really worked, even though it is, the movie is about phobia and fear. This came across as a light-hearted and a song with character.
Yes, Daniel. Uh, in fact, we have come to the end of the masterclass. Firstly, thank you so much, Daniel, for taking us through this
Mm.
musical journey where we thoroughly enjoyed, not just listening to it, but actually seeing the hard work and the effort that's been put up by the team, including you with your
Thank
project files, like, what thought came to your head, and how you worked on the entire background score. Thank you once
thank
again,
you.
from
Thanks.
Manipal Academy of Higher Education. And dear participants, we will be taking your questions now. There are a few questions which we have made note of. So Daniel, out of all the projects that you have worked on, what has been your favorite project, keeping in mind Johnny Gaddar and Andhadhun, or any other project that you think of?
Uh, while sending you music for promos, um, when I scroll through the music of Johnny Gaddar, I concurred that Johnny Gaddar was my most satisfying, because the
Okay.
kind of energy it has, and maybe also because I was 12, 13 years younger. Yeah. So
Okay. Also, there is another question related to Johnny Gaddar and Andhadhun. So, how different was it to do Johnny Gaddar in analog while Andhadhun in digital?
yeah, Johnny, we were lucky. We did that in analog. If anybody is a connoisseur on, I mean, if you have the know-how of what is the analog stream and the digital stream, Johnny was absolutely analog. It was run on a 2-inch tape, recorded on a 2-inch tape, and all music was live. Even the timpanis and the big drums and the drummer was live. The brass section was live. The strings were live. The guitars were live. The bass guitar was live. Yeah, and the synths were analog. So it had a lot of, and even though even today, if I have those tools, Johnny had like that included the elderly Franco Vaz. The way he has been playing, the way he played on pieces, it is nothing short of madness. The sections that he played and performed, and the things that were running, they are very edgy and performed with a lot of gusto.
Okay.
Mhm.
Also, how much time
And
does it
you
take?
said digital, right?
Yeah,
uh,
Andhadhun for digital.
yeah, Andhadhun for
Yeah,
digital.
yeah.
By Andhadhun, maybe we got a little familiar with what works, and how to simulate stuff. We tried our best, as I described in Vivaldi. Even though there is a live violin, solo violin going underneath, we put in a live guitar, so that they kind of stay gritty, and then I spoke about the analog thing in the chase, and then even if I didn't get the analog, I would use a bullet motorcycle or a piston engine to, to fight the sound design and sound effects. So all these ideas were implemented in Andhadhun as well, but it was we didn't have the luxury of using a 2-inch machine.
Okay. So, while working on the short-term and long-term projects, here, when I say short-term, you have also worked on commercials. So, how the entire working, like be it the music recording or maybe background scoring, how it differs?
Background scoring is very rewarding, because the arc is very long, and yeah, the length and breadth of the idea is big. There is a lot of breathing. Can take long breaths. But when it comes to advertising, be it a 30-second, even if it is a 60 seconds, you are accommodating a communication. Yeah, most of the time, it's a voice-based commercial, and you are just about punctuating in and around and in between that particular communication. So very less opportunity for a musician in advertising. Advertising is a different piece of it's a different platform altogether. Movies and advertising should not be mixed. They are for a different. The intent of advertising is different. Whereas in the movies, there is a lot of commitment for every worker from every department to do something great.
Right. Also, what is your advice for those who wants to pursue their career or venture into the field of music in films?
Yeah. Um, yes, please do, and especially today, in 2020, is the most conducive time to to get in, because you have so many tools. You have a wide range of things on the digital media to help you. And main thing, if you want to get in, the first your driving agent is the hunger to know what's happening in different facets of filmmaking, music, and stuff like that. Any genres, and you should not have too many reservations about genres. Anything will have something good in it, and you grasp that.
Okay. Also, we have another question from one of our participants. What, in your opinion, are the strengths of a trained musician and someone who's naturally gifted, a musician who's naturally gifted in the process of music composition?
Okay. Trained musicians means there are two kinds of trained musicians. One is a Western classically trained. Actually, there are three kinds of musicians. Trained musicians, Western classically trained musicians, somebody who goes abroad to a Berkeley or an institution on the lines of Berkeley or MI, and comes back. Number two, and number three is our Indian classically trained from Bhatkande school or Gandharva Vidyalaya, where they get almost do a PhD in music. This trained music thing gets the fundamentals really solid, puts the fundamentals really solid, and teaches, and also their grammar is very good. But it may, I'm just saying may, I'm being very careful at this. it may restrict them to get out of the box and out of their training paradigm to do something uh, different, because most of the music composition is out of the box. Because even if you are trained and and if you are gifted also, when you are composing a tune, you ought not to sit on your instrument. Your tune should come in your head somewhere while sipping a tea or a coffee or walking in the park, when you're not on your instrument. And that tune sticks, because it is outside the realms of training. It is outside the realm of fundamentals and the rules, and it has a quality that it sticks. It's a, even if it is a theme or an idea or a tune, it normally, because it does not fall in certain rules and regulations. So for both the gifted and the well trained, this comes, as they say, out of thin air. So you have to basically both the trained and the gifted have to train themselves over the years to catch things out of thin air.
Okay. Also, there's another question asking, can I pick up the music composition or, work in the field of music while I am not good at the softwares or computer, but good at the instruments?
Please do that. You will be better composer without the technology and without the tools, And if you see, I'll tell you, if you are an Indian composer of this thing, and you know a little bit of folk music or a little bit of classical or anything, you can just most of our composers used to be the singing composers. They used to just compose the tune, and then we had arrangers and others who would write down on a score and give it to the orchestra, and rest everything used to be done. But the main thing between the director and the composer was to crack the tune. Go back all the way to Raj Kapoor and Shankar Jaikishan sitting. And Shankar came with just a line saying Ramaya Vastavaya, Ramaya Vastavaya. This is it. And mind you, Ramaya Vastavaya, nobody knows in this country what Ramaya Vastavaya is. It's not Hindi, by the way. But the little backstory I have on this is, Shankar happens to be from Hyderabad. Even though he's a Punjabi, Shankar is from Hyderabad, from the older Hyderabad, and he picked it, that word is a Telugu word, Ramaya Vastavaya, means Ram, will you come, Ram, will you come. And it's a slang in the Telugu language. So Raj Kapoor apparently loved this. He said, "तुम इसको change मत करना, ऐसी रखना. बाद में हम लोग लाएंगे, मैंने दिल किसको दिया." So, mind you, Shankar is operating without technology here. He does not have an iMac. He does not have anything. It's just these orientation is a regional orientation, or you call whatever you call it. He's operating. And again on the same lines, one small example. What if Rahman came with after his big hits as Roja, Bombay, and this thing, and he forayed into those were all Tamil based movies, and then suddenly his first movie was Tal, and then his first hit tune was was ताल से ताल मिला हो, ताल से ताल मिला. I'm sure even for me as a musician, I think Rahman, either Subhash Ghai said aisa kar lo, or he just came without an instrument. Because like that we have many a tune in that that is Rag Darbar. Many a tune Tal se Tal Mila, Satyam Shivam Sundaram, oh Satyam Shivam Sundaram. So so this is the little thinking that you need. Actually your mind and your heart itself is technology. Yeah.
100%. Thank you, Daniel, once again for taking us through your musical journey and inspiring all of us with those words. I'm sure most of the participants who wants to venture into the field of music got an idea, and they are sure, like, you know, what is the first step that they should be taking. We wish you all the best in all your works and in the world of music. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Wilma, and thank you, everybody, and thank you, Sriram, for being on the show, and Pooja too.
Yes, congratulations to the team of Andhadhun, and thank you for the entire team for joining us here at this masterclass. Dear participants, we also have an interesting workshop or masterclass coming up next week with the director and writer of Bulbul. So stay tuned, visit our FB page, that is Mahe Dubai, and also our website to know more about our courses. School of Media and Communication offers different courses for those who wants to pursue their career in the field of media, film production, public relation, advertising, event management, and the list goes on. So in case if you want to inquire about the courses, do visit our campus. In the weekdays, you can also visit our open house sessions, which will be held on the Fridays, every Friday from 4 to 8 p.m. Thank you all the participants for joining us for this wonderful session. We have had a great time. All of you have been joining from different parts of the world. Stay tuned and visit our official Facebook and Instagram page to get more updates of our upcoming masterclass. This is Wilma Serrao signing off. Thank you.